Senator Kutcher.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Senators, I rise today with deep sadness for the citizens of Ukraine and also for the rest of the free world. I'm very worried about the people of Ukraine, including relatives that I and many of us in this chamber and across our free and prosperous country have living there. This morning, I looked at a map that showed places where missile and air attacks had targeted Kiev, Lviv, just outside of Ternopil. My family is there. We are witnessing a criminal act on Ukraine, an attack on the international rule of law, an attack on the values that all those that live in a democratic freedom must resist. And although our resistance is coming late, it must be fulsome and impactful, and it must happen now. The invasion comes as no surprise. It is not the result of an impulsive act by an unhinged mind, but the cunning culmination of years of preparation, years during which we in the free world could have acted, but did not. Years during which the signs were clearly there for us to see, but we did not see, or maybe worse, chose not to see, or maybe even worse, aided and abetted. It was no surprise that earlier this week, Trump praised the genius of Putin, and Fox News attacked Canada and fawned over Russia. Sadly, many Canadians may not realize just how real dictators operate. Russia has long been actively destabilizing Western democracies, including Canada, often by interfering in elections and stoking the flames of populism and libertarianism. As the Macdonald-Laurier Institute and DisinfoWatch have pointed out, during this pandemic, Russia has been amplifying anti-vaccine rhetoric, pushing narratives that question the existence of COVID, the legitimacy of Canadian public health protocols, and the safety of vaccines, inciting people to attack public health measures that were designed to protect them and their communities. My family knows these techniques only too well. Destabilization of legitimate government that stands in the way of Russian interests has always been a hallmark of that regime. My ties are deep in Ukraine. My parents were World War II refugees. They knew what tyranny really is. They lost everything. Most of my relatives were sent to the Gulag. Those that survived were cast aside on the scrap heap of life. Some clawed their way back, others did not. Honorable Senators, let's see Russia for what it is. Let's make sure it does not destabilize our country and the international rule of law. We need to stand with Ukraine, and we need to act, not tomorrow, today. As the Ukrainian national anthem says, "Ще не мера Україна." Ukraine's freedom has not yet perished. Let's do all that we can to prove that phrase correct. Thank you, and дякую.